How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will sing, how great, 'cause how great is my God, is my God, is our God. Oh, how great is our God. Sing with me, how great is my God. And all will sing, how great is our God. See, you are good and your mercy is forever. Hallelujah. You are good and your mercy is forever. 'Cause hallelujah. Oh, you are good and your mercy is forever. 'Cause hallelujah. Oh Lord, you are good and your mercy is forever. You are good in your mercy, in your mercy. Hallelujah. You are good and your mercy is forever. Hallelujah.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily on City TV. It's a kind of rainy but still beautiful Monday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're welcome. Wherever you're watching us from, welcome to Breakfast Daily. My name is David Kwekwesichi.
And I am Dziffa at Ametam. That's an interactive show. So wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. Just use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear what you're thinking.
Yes, and we have a WhatsApp line as well. It's 0550-585-832. If you happen to be outside Ghana, you want to communicate with us, kindly prefix that with +233.
Yeah, and today is a special day for the SHS final year students. They are going back to school. It's raining. You know, this is honestly, I don't know what it's like to be in school during a pandemic and to have to write an exam.
Everything's different
So,
now.
We wish you guys the best of luck.
Yeah,
And I think to all family members, let's support them. Let's give them the moral support they need to get through this.
Yeah. But every day we start the show off with a quote. So let's take a look at our quote for today. We'll come back and continue the conversation. So the quote of the day today is from Jim Rohn, who's an entrepreneur and an author, and he says, "If you're not willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary." You have to be willing to risk the usual, all right? And otherwise, you have to settle for the ordinary, all right? And many times there are a lot of things that we don't want to give up, and we're like, okay, you know what? It's way too risky, but if you do that, if that's your attitude, basically, you're not going to get anything fantastic or extraordinary. Yeah.
Get out of your comfort zone. I mean, the worst thing that will happen if you step out is it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And then you have that as a backup plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yesterday we had an incredible announcement, as it were, where the president made mention of the fact that 5,000 new numbers of recoveries had added to our recovery numbers, and it just, I mean, for me, it blew my mind. So where is this 5,000 coming from? Anyway, so the explanation that came from there, the president is going to speak to us. Let's take a listen, and we'll come back.
Approach to dealing with the virus, as I've always said, will be informed by the evolving science and data. At the outset of the pandemic, the scientific community and the World Health Organization, WHO, on 12 January 2020, recommended two main criteria for declaring someone who was tested positive as having recovered from the disease. The first is that you no longer have symptoms. And the second is that you're no longer capable of infecting others. Initially, the scientific thinking was that as long as you continue to test positive, you're capable of infecting others. Hence the requirement for the 2 consecutive negative tests before you're declared as having recovered. This was the science that informed the guidelines that Ghana has so far followed. However, there's now new evidence which states that after 10 to 14 days, a person with no symptoms is unlikely to transmit the virus to others, even if the person continues to test positive. It is on this basis that WHO has updated its guidelines as published per its Clinical Management of COVID-19 Interim Guidance of 27th May 2020, quote, as part of the clinical care pathway of a COVID-19 patient, unquote. According to WHO, asymptomatic patients, i.e., those who have tested positive for the virus but are not exhibiting any symptoms after 14 days, quote, are not likely to be infectious and therefore are unlikely to be able to transmit the virus to another person, unquote. After 3 weeks of analyzing and studying this update and recommendation and situating it in the Ghanaian context, in line with the admonition by WHO to member states, this new patient discharge recovery policy has now been adopted by Ghana, as have some countries in the European Union, Singapore, India, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Dubai. As of Saturday, 20th June, the total number of positives cumulatively stands at 14,154 out of the 270,300 tests conducted. Under the revised policy, 5,925 persons have recovered and been discharged. This brings the total number of recoveries to 10,473. The number of active cases is as 3,596. In our hospitals and isolation centers, we currently have 24 persons severely ill, 6 persons critically ill, with 4 persons on ventilators. 85 persons have regrettably died.
So there's a couple of things in the question that you just asked. One is the number of cases that are reported, that are being reported as asymptomatic. And so we hear from a number of countries that X percentage of them are reported as not having symptoms, or that they are in their pre-symptomatic phase, which means it's a few days before they actually develop severe symptoms. In a number of countries, when we go back and we discuss with them, one, how are these asymptomatic cases being identified? Many of them are being identified through contact tracing, and so which is what we would want to see, in that you have a known case, you find your contacts, they're already in quarantine, hopefully, and some of them are tested, and then you pick up people who may have asymptomatic or no symptoms or even mild symptoms. The other thing we're finding is that when we actually go back and say how many of them were truly asymptomatic, we find out that many have really mild disease, very mild disease. They're not quote-unquote COVID symptoms, meaning they may not have developed fever yet, they may not have had a significant cough, or they may not have shortness of breath, but some may have mild disease. Having said that, we do know that there can be people that are truly asymptomatic and PCR positive. The second part of your question is what proportion of asymptomatic individuals actually transmit. So the way that we look at that is we look at these individuals need to be followed carefully over the course of when they're detected and looking at secondary transmission. We have a number of reports from countries who are doing very detailed contact tracing. They're following asymptomatic cases, they're following contacts, and they're not finding secondary transmission onward. It's very rare. And that much of that is not published in the literature. From the papers that are published, there's one that came out from Singapore, looking at a long-term
things there, but basically the president has given us the reason why the numbers are the way they are. 5,000 new recoveries that have been added, and we still pushed our numbers beyond 10,000 now. And then, of course, you heard the WHO, what they said, the protocols, that the new protocols they are working on, and simply based on a simple scientific analysis here, that number came out at once. Because I know a lot of you, just like me, we're wondering, 5,000 from where? It sounded almost like shenanigans and people playing around with figures.
For the return of the students. Despite the short notice for the meeting, I was happy to see the impressive turnout of their executives from all parts of the country, and I'm grateful for the wholehearted cooperation they pledged to government. Like their seniors at the university, SHS3 students will be in school for a total of 6 weeks before sitting for the WASI exams over a period of 2 weeks. SHS2 Gold Track students who are returning to complete their first semester, like the Green Tracks colleagues have done, will be in school for 6 weeks before going on, and 7,200 thermometer guns have been distributed. A maximum of 25 students will be permitted in each class. All-day students in schools with boarding houses will be resident in these boarding houses, whilst day students in schools without boarding facilities will commute from home and will be required to adhere to enhanced hygiene protocols. Eating in dining halls will be in appropriate numbers, and no visitors to the schools will be allowed. There will be no mass gatherings and no sporting activities. Religious activities under the new protocols will be permitted. Social distancing and the wearing of face masks are obligatory in our schools. One dormitory block in each senior high school is to be used as an isolation center in the event of a student falling sick. Again, each senior high school has been mapped to a health facility, and care will be provided to the sick by nurses assigned to these schools. Through the National Food and Buffer Stock Company, enough food supplies have been distributed to all schools. Government is also making available 350 buses and 840 pickup vehicles to senior high schools that did not receive vehicles in 2016. For the first time in our nation's history, the government will absorb the WASSCE examination fees of the 313,837 students who will sit for the exam. 75.4 million cedis will be spent on this. These SHS3 students, also referred to by some as the Akua graduates, are also the first group of beneficiaries of government's free senior high school policy to sit the WASSCE exams. 1.2 million children, the highest such enrollment in our nation's history because of this policy, are currently in senior high schools. Let us pause for a moment to consider what would have happened to the 400,000 more students who have entered senior high school between 2017 and 2019 without this policy in place. We introduced free SHS because history and the experiences of developed nations have shown that the most efficient way to empower the population and thereby guarantee the future of the nation is by investing in education and skills training.
So there you have it. We heard that the WASSCE students, the government will take care of their bills. You know, the numbers of people who are positive have gone up, recoveries have also gone up, but the deaths have also gone up. Last week, we heard from the president, 54 people had died. In just 1 week, more MPs who lost their seats in the greater Accra region, that's 5 right there as we're looking at. Total number of MPs who lost their seats are 40, and some people have come out to say how exactly, how strong will Parliament be if they are losing these people who have contributed to the work that's happening in Parliament. But we've also learned from this experience that, just because you are working hard in Parliament may not necessarily translate to what your constituents might want or what the delegates are looking for. But there was great news. A lot of new entrants are in. So more people won. Of course, Honorable Issa Hussaini retained his seat with 305 votes. That's Okaikwe North. When you come to, you have the Honorable Prince Hamidou Ama retaining his seat with 222 votes. And our old Tafo was very interesting, Akua Vincent, who's the PRO for the Education Ministry, won with 299 votes. He's one of the newbies, young people who are going to Parliament. Of course, he was following votes there. And Bantama was interesting, Francis Asenso Boache.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
City TV in collaboration with Absa Bank will give SMEs the opportunity to reboot their.
Join me, Apioko Sarah Mashong Abe, on Diplomatic License every Saturday at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
We're about to change your Sunday night for the better.
Prophecy is not for useless things and loose, frivolous things. Prophecy is for weightier matters.
We'll bring you the most captivating guests and explore the most amazing stories. Your way to stardom was really planned.
Calculated.
Yes.
It was falling in place.
I wanted like a specific future for myself. First, I'm gonna do my popularity. Second, help must come from it. Like upside down like this.
You know it, you know it, you know it. We will dazzle you with real life situations and examine mind-blowing topics.
Family says he can pay me. I want to show him cash. Good one.
So is that what it's about?
Oh yes, I'll prove to this guy. Cash.
Draw your swords. Deuteronomy 8:3. Charge.
Join me, Frema Dunyame.
And me, Akua, every Sunday at 7 p.m. on City TV. Are you ready?
Upside Down every Sunday, 7 p.m. only on City TV.
MPP parliamentary primaries, 40 incumbents fall. Government appointees had a field day in primaries. Dr. Yalba, next guest editor. In Greater Accra, Ashanti regions, this is from the president. COVID-19, students, staff returning to school not being put at risk, Nanado assures. MPP condemns violence among members of the parliamentary primaries. And on citybusinessnews.com, cut down livestock importation and support local farmers. This is an animal scientist urging the government. BOG cleanup responsible for banks' resilience to COVID-19 shocks. This is from a consultant. Fix Unipass challenges to enable us to clear our cars. This is coming from the automobile dealers to government. Marginal slowdown in Ghana's growth rate cause for concern. This is an economist. So for more news, kindly visit citynewsroom.com.
Something had come.
So all in all, it was an interesting weekend. Football came back.
Yeah, EPL.
Fortunately, my team lost. But
my team drew to my surprise.
Yes, it's a surprise. They drew. Whatever the case is, whether they draw or they lose, they'll still win. So it's neither here nor there.
Hopefully.
Yes. So it was okay. I'm sure we're going to delve into the issues.
Yes.
In terms of the MPP elections, to say kudos to them. They've pulled it off. One or two issues that we need to look at, but generally, it was a peaceful weekend. Yeah.
Okay. So let's begin first with the coronavirus pandemic. Our recovery numbers have exceeded 10,000. The president has also announced the reopening of secondary schools. They're back in school today. Let's get into those stories, and then let me read to you what stories we have here, and then we'll get into the conversation. Ghana's COVID-19 case. This is on citynewsroom.com. Case rises by 147. The total is now 14,154. Then the story here says, Ghana's COVID-19 cases have seen yet another rise, bringing the total to 14,154. This follows the announcement of 147 new cases by the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, on Sunday evening. The total number of recoveries and deaths, however, remain at 10,473 and 85 respectively, which translates into 3,596 active cases. As at Saturday, and I quote, 20th June, the total number of positives cumulatively stands at 14,154 out of the 270,300 tests conducted. Under this revised policy, 5,925 persons have recovered and been discharged. This brings the total number of recoveries to 10,473. The number of active cases is 3,596, the president indicated. So the story goes on. It gives us the cases per region. We will not get into all of that. Let me start with Elvis. What do you make of our sudden jump in recovery numbers as per the new direction in terms of announcing recoveries?
Well, for me, I think that it is good news, and the most important thing here is that it's not a Ghana decision. It's a WHO recommended position. Yeah. So for me, if we are working with best practices, it's the best. So I am happy that since the onset of this thing, we have tried as much as possible to do the best things in terms of the medical aspect of how the disease should be handled. And I must say that we, no matter what the situation, we deserve a lot of commendation as a country, and the government deserves the way we have approached it. In Brazil, the president initially started there is no such thing, and encouraged the people to continue to do what they are doing. Today, Brazil is the fourth, but in terms of death, they are the second to the United States. Yeah. Last week, in a particular, they recorded over 2,000 deaths in one day. Yeah. With over 130,000 cases in one day. So I think that, for me, once it's a WHO recommended procedure, and the WHO says it is backed by science, that for people who are showing symptoms after 14 days, if the person is no longer showing symptoms, the person might not test positive. Negative, yeah. Maybe testing positive, but so long as the person is no longer showing symptoms, it means that the person can't transmit the disease to people again, and therefore there's no need to be keeping the person in the hospital environment, and therefore you can let the person go and continue, and the person will be fine. And I think that, to me, is a very important thing, that we are trying to break the chain of transmission. So if the people we are asking to go cannot transmit, I'm happy. Asymptomatic, they say the same thing, that after 10 days, if the person is not showing any sign, if the person can't transmit the disease anymore to people. So for me, it's something that we should be happy about. But because the virus is something that is behaving in a way everybody is struggling to deal with, I will suggest that anybody who is told that you still tested positive, although you are not showing symptoms, should continue
being cautious.
To be cautious. And if possible, if can isolate at home, should continue until it tests negative. Because we are looking at your loved ones that you are going to interact with. And if you want to protect your loved ones, at least you have been in isolation for a minimum of 14 days. And you know how painful it is when your movement is restricted. And probably certain health challenges you might be experiencing in that situation. So if you have been discharged, when you are discharged, it means that you have not tested positive. If you say you have recovered, it means that you have not tested negative. But if you have recovered, it means that you have tested negative. So those that will be told that they have been discharged but not recovered, I would suggest that they continue. And the Ghana Health Service also make it a point to follow up on those people. And then, if possible, try as much as possible.
They don't say there's absolutely no transmission. They say there's rarely any transmission from people who are asymptomatic.
So there can be transmission.
They left room for that.
Exactly. So if they've left room for that, it means it can happen. I would not expect us to take it lock, stock and barrel. We should also test what the WHO is saying. And so if we even say, At the present moment, we are quarantining for 14 days. WHO are saying after 10 days, if the person doesn't show any sign, you can let them go home. Let's test that.
Yeah.
Let's have some for 14 days and let's have some for 10 days.
Okay, so just to put this in a bit of context, because what I heard the president say, he said that the WHO has said this on the 27th of May, right? But he said we've applied this to the Ghana context. So I'm assuming, okay, I'm not holding brief for anybody, but I'm assuming that considering the initial new protocol came out on 27th of May, right? We've waited for about a month, almost a month. And maybe we've also done something, because he actually made reference to the fact that we are looking at this protocol within the Ghana context. He actually said that in his speech yesterday.
How many people will understand what he means by the Ghana context?
How many people need to understand what he means?
We need to understand it.
You don't understand what he means?
It's not everybody will understand it.
Do you understand what he means?
No, it's not a matter of what I understand. It's a matter of what the general public would understand when he says that. What do we mean by the Ghana context?
Okay, so explain to us what it possibly means, the Ghana context, because I think I'm asking your opinion.
Perhaps the Ghana context is got to do with the 14-day cycle. And the Ghana context has got to do with the number of infections. The overall numbers gives you an idea of infections, but the active cases is where the deaths come from. So if it is reduced by what?
Over 4,000.
Over 4,000? There must be something. And we need to be able to interrogate and see what it is.
But I think we've known for a while now that in terms of our context, we are actually not as badly hit as other countries. What we don't know is the reason, or what we haven't been told yet is the, reason behind
So
that.
what I'm driving at is that when we look at this, government can now come and say, well, it's okay to have social gatherings. It's okay to open the airports. And the situation there has got to do with spiking, the numbers spiking.
Yeah.
Because you see, a lot of people get scared with the spiking numbers. I don't think the spiking numbers should be, we should be fearful, because not everybody who gets infected gets the disease. Gets the disease.
Yeah.
So for me, that isn't the challenge. The challenge is on the active cases. I would love a situation where these active cases would draw down to 20.
Yeah.
We must be doing something right. When you look at the number of recoveries, we must be doing something right for those recoveries to be bumping up.
Yeah.
And conspiracy theories would say, because I heard people say, how can we have 5,000 cases within a short time recovery? Government should come out and tell us how that recovery is taking place.
But that's what he did yesterday. He said that the WHO has a new protocol for declaring recoveries. And based on that new protocol, looking at our Ghana context, we looked at it, and over 5,000 people have been discharged.
No, but there's a difference between discovery and discharge.
So they've been discharged. Some are still positive, but they are not showing symptoms.
But that is what Ghanaian, some people are asking, that let's distinguish between those who have recovered and those who have been discharged. So that we know that as for this number, they are still positive, but they can't transmit. But that is what is lacking in the data now.
All right, so you finish.
What I'm trying to drive at is the fact that how are we treating those who have been infected? Down the value chain. Down the value chain. I would have loved government to show us down the value chain. Somebody gets infected. They go here. They do this. They do this. They do this. They do this. Somebody gets infected. They get treated. However, they have to go on the ventilator. However, they die. Give us that value chain.
Okay.
Then we see it for ourselves. And then we can follow, because sometimes when the president comes and he says certain things, some people can't follow because visually they can't visualize it in their mindset.
All right. We'll come back and continue the conversation. We'll dovetail into the SHS's reopening and then what it means in terms of the protocols and so on. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Davis, your bite on this school returning back, students returning back to school.
Excuse me.
Well, it's...
Excuse me. Returning and returning back are the same word.
No, I didn't mean that.
Okay, all right.
Going back to school.
Globally, it's been accepted and established that no country can remain in lockdown anymore. They can write the exams because we cannot say we are closing that school for 2 years because COVID is not gone and there's no medicine.
All right, okay. So we want to talk about we're going to get into the next story. Now, Ghana-Nigerian diplomatic relations has received some kind of a jolt this weekend with a story that we have here. Let me just quickly read that for you. The Nigerian High Commission forcibly trying to take our land. This is coming from the Osu stool. Now, I'm going to read the actual statement from the Paramount Chief of Osu. Trespassing, the title is Trespassing on the Parcel of Land Belonging to the Osu stool. The Paramount Chief of Osu, the Paramount Chief of the Osu Traditional Area and the President of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, Ni Okwe Kinka, the winner, the 6th, wishes to make known to the general public that all that piece of land in extent 0.46 hectare, approximately 1.14 acres, more or less being, and it gives a code number here, situated at West Ridge in the Greater Accra region of the Republic of Ghana, belonging to Osu stool, has been trespassed upon. The said parcel of land and the entire Osu Manche layout is not state land but a part of Osu Paramount stool land, and as such it is only the stool that has the mandate to grant lease, be it expired or otherwise. As such, the following should be noted. On the 20th of June 2020, an article published by Joy Online, my Joy Online, I'm sure it's trying to say, claiming that armed men had demolished structures belonging to the Nigerian High Commission is wrong and has no justification. The said parcel of land is separate from that which is currently being occupied by the Nigerian High Commission. It came to the attention of the Osu stool that the original building on the parcel of land was demolished and in its place a new structure was being erected. The Osu stool was informed that the structure was being erected by a Nigerian business person with the aid of the Nigerian High Commission and was forcibly trying to take over the said parcel of land. The Osu stool was also informed that the structure is planned as a planned entertainment complex to be used as an event center for commercial purposes and is not a block of flats as purported in the reportage. The stool has the highest level of respect for foreign missions and has therefore on several occasions verbally informed the unidentified trespasser of the ownership status of the land through the security personnel resident on the parcel of land. And it goes on. I want to read briefly another story here. It says, Foreign Affairs Ministry probes demolition of Nigerian High Commission's building. The Foreign Affairs Ministry has begun investigations into the demolition of a structure belonging to the Nigeria High Commission in Ghana. The ministry said investigations into circumstances under which the demolition occurred are ongoing to unravel the facts of the matter and bring the perpetrators to book. The security at the said facility has been intensified, according to the ministry. It has come to the attention of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration that unidentified individuals had allegedly breached the premises of the Nigerian High Commission in Accra and demolished the property under construction around 10:30 p.m. on Friday, 19th June 2020. All right, let me come to you, Elvis on this. What do you make of this story?
No matter what justification the stool gives, the stool has breached the laws of the land. They acted irresponsibly. Inviting the people to the police headquarters is not the law. The courts are there to grant injunction against something. If somebody trespassing your property, and you think that the police invitation they refuse, yours is to go to court. You must have an order of demolition from the court. The statement they issued, they talk about invited the people to the police headquarters and they never mentioned that they secured any injunction against the developer. And in their statement, you realize that even though they claim that they are the owners of the land, they said there has been a building on the land has been demolished, a new one being put up. So it means that the one that was there is for residential purposes, so they didn't have a problem. But this one, because it's going to be a commercial facility, they have all those things will be investigated. But my point is that in a country of laws, democracy is the rule of law, not the disobedience of the laws. The laws are clear. If you want a demolition, you go for an order. So for me, the fact that they failed to talk about the fact that they secured any injunction or any demolition order from a court, that for me is problematic. If IGP invites someone, the person did not go, it's a civil case. Go to court and secure an injunction against the person. So if my understanding is right, that they didn't have any court injunction, they didn't have any order of the court to go and demolish, and they carry bulldozers to go and demolish, it is completely wrong. The Nigerian High Commission premises is considered as the country Nigeria in Ghana. In diplomatic relations, you can't just enter that place anyhow. So for me, if they believe that Nigerian High Commission is trespassing, the best thing would have been to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and complain to the government that we think this High Commission is doing ABCD. It's wrong. They never even talked about informing the government about this. They only spoke about going to police headquarters, the police invited, the police didn't come. I think that as traditional property and as residences for their staff, that's what the embassy is claiming. So they claim that that portion of land
if that is
part of their land.
If that is
and the chiefs are disputing.
If that is the case, who gave the land to the Nigerian High Commission? So state's land. And the chiefs are saying that it's not state land, it is their land.
Yeah, but you see, for me, my challenge with this, and this Elvis alluded to this earlier on, that regardless of whether it's state land or stool land, you still have to go to court. And not at 10 p.m. in the night, go and do banditry style demolition.
David, does this not happen in this country?
Oh, it does.
What are we talking about?
I'm just saying.
To you, when others are following it. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. But it goes to show that we do not abide by laws in this country. Simple. Governments have come and gone, come and gone, come and gone. Have they done anything about the land tenure system? The land tenure system is creating a lot of havoc in this country. Who is doing anything about it? Whose responsibility is it? Is it not government? And have they done anything about it? And now we are faced with such a thing. And what are we trying to do and what are we trying to say?
We have spent the World Bank money over $100 million in a project called Land Administration Project.
We need to be able to look at the land tenure system in this country. And I bet you, when we now decide to drill oil onshore, you will see the challenges we'll go through. You see the challenges we'll go through. This is priority. The Minister of Foreign Affairs should not just come and say, oh, we are looking at it. It should get into Parliament. It should get into the presidency. And we should do something about the land tenure system in this country, period. If we had done something about it, we won't be facing what we are facing today. I don't think Nigerians would go to war with us on this. Because I have even been contacted by a Nigerian radio station to talk about it this afternoon. I don't think they would go to war with us. But we are pointing fingers at ourselves. I don't understand why government cannot do anything about this land tenure system. Look at the, what do you call it, the land guards. Look at what they're doing. And nobody seems to be doing anything about it. We think it's right. And then it now moves into vigilantism. We think it's right. Let me come back to something that I forgot to say when we were talking about the COVID thing. When the president came to give his statement yesterday, I would talk in front of it. So it should be a sign for us.
We will take these issues. Because if I know I will misbehave, break the rules, that I will not be punished because my party is in power, then the next thing, one lawyer I'm told has actually been beaten and ended up at the hospital. I saw it on TV myself. These things are barbaric punishment. So if we will not punish to deter, then the impunity continues. So we shouldn't be taking these things for granted. Our future can really be affected by some of these things. I admitted that the violence is, compared to the previous elections, this one is far, far, far lower. But we must get rid of it completely from the system. No place for violence in a democratic dispensation.
All right. No space for violence in a democratic dispensation. My guests have been lawyer Kwame Jantua and Elvis Dakum. My name is David Kwekusechi. We're going to come back with a lot more interesting things.
Someone will put in our various cells, and then someone you have a huge
363 and Go TV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks, and tune in to Class Act only on City TV.
Like raining stars, let your mercy reign. Oh God, like a ready star, let your mercy reign. When I'm with you, I'm so free.
Another great one by Prince Ayi. He's with us throughout the show. Thank you for staying. And I mean, through it all, we have to stay thankful and grateful to God for granting us life. Now, Kosia Konedu Yadom is here to help us understand the role nutrition plays in a flat tummy. There's no shortcut to receiving a flat tummy. You need to eat the right things and do what you need to do. I've already seen Paco taking out his notebook and a pen to take notes, because it doesn't happen overnight. A lot of us see images on social media before, after, and they say they took one pill or did this and that. We need to eat our way into that flat tummy that we want. And throughout our conversation with Akosia Konedu Yadom, you can contribute or ask questions. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. And of course, Akosia is state-registered nutritionist. Good morning, Akosia.
Good morning, Dziffa. That
How
was
are you?
something, an introduction. I'm fine, yourself?
I'm good. Okay, flat tummy.
Yep.
And nutrition. How important is it? Because I think nutrition is lost when I talk about flat tummy.
Okay, so like I said, everything you eat, your body would later show us that, oh, this is the magic you did to your body. Yes, and so it just didn't happen. I don't think we were born with a pot belly. So definitely it means that you did something to contribute to that. Mind you, there are people who are naturally big. I call my mom Obolo because she's naturally like that. I've seen her pics from infancy till now, and she's never been slim. So for people like that, you can have genetics playing a contributory factor to they looking a certain way. But there are people just like me, Dziffa. You've known me for almost 2 years now, and all of a sudden I deliver and I am all over the place. You go like, Akosia, you need to check your body or work on your body. So yes, we are talking about that. And you can also link this to last week's conversation. We spoke about body types. If you are somebody who is more of a mesomorph, if you are an endomorph person, definitely you have the chances of storing a lot of fat.
What do these mean? Mesomorph, endomorph for
I
our
think
viewers
they
who
should
didn't
go
watch,
and watch last week's episode.
Okay, go to YouTube. We didn't watch last week's episode.
Okay, so endomorphs, they tend to build on faster. They store a lot of fat as compared to the other counterparts. And you have mesomorphs. They are between endo and ecto. And the ectomorphs are people like myself and then Mr. Abler who struggle to gain weight. So yes, if you are an endomorph kind of a person or a mesomorph, if you are not like us, then it means that you'd have to be careful. Even with me.
Don't give it away. They have to go to CityTube and watch last week's episode.
Yes.
Because this week we're talking flat tummies. For those of us who are not like Bernard and Akosia, and we need to check our tummies.
Yeah, so whatever you are eating plays a very important role. Now, I don't know if you should just zoom in. If you are somebody who has that, you'd have to know what to do, because sometimes I just want to lose my my fat in the mid-session, but I have to go through some workout routines that will end up making me grow leaner. But I'm okay with just how I look. I love how you look, Dziffa. But maybe, yes, I always pray to be that, because people, but I don't have it. So, yes, Dziffa is nice as far as her shape is concerned. So now I just want to lose the fat here. I delivered. I have baby fat. I want to take care of that. Now my salary was increased for the men, so now my belly is big. So I want to take care of it, but not necessarily to lose my body mass or my body mass. Or sorry. So you'd have to make sure you know what you are going in for. Like I said last week, I lost 4 kg. I didn't ask for it. I was in to just maintain, but I didn't get a good instructor. So whoever is coaching you is also important. And I always say you can't do this without a professional. If you are hitting the gym, know where to go to. If it has to do with what you should eat, the supplements to take, consult a nutritionist. If you cut down on your calories, what that would do is that it will increase your metabolism. Once your metabolism is increased, then you increase your protein intake. What a protein intake will do for people like, let's say, Dziffa, I just want to lose the abdominal fat in here or the pot belly and not to lose my body. You increase your protein intake. That is, as a result, increasing your metabolic rate. Now, what that will do is that it will help you maintain your body muscle whilst you work on just the midsection or the fat here. So that is one. And then you could also make sure you are going in for probiotic foods or supplements. Now, what probiotic will do is that it has a way of improving on our gut health. So instead of going for the refined sugars and other things, I'll quickly brush you through as I go through the points on my phone here. So I said going for probiotic. What it does is that some lactobacillus strains are proven to reduce weight at the waist or the midsection. Now, flat tummy, obviously your tummy is around the midsection, so that is where the concentration is. Dziffa, you have to also make sure you do 20 to 40 minutes of workout session. As the focus is cardio. Cardio session to help you as far as you taking care of that pot belly is. And then you eat foods which are blessed as far as monounsaturated fatty acids are concerned. Now you have, I spoke about it I think 3 weeks ago, most of the bigger brands as far as oils are concerned have a lot of saturated fats sitting in there. How many times will you see the advert of sunflower oil and banana to what you find in oranges?
Now green tea, powerful one. What do we get from green tea?
So green tea it's like, I always say that when they come to the hospital, teas are not allowed, but there are some that are medicinal. There is a tea, I've brought it here I think 2 years ago, that we use for people with diabetes. It's a tea. We don't want tea, but there are some which can be taken if you are guided. There are some products which can be, we can ask you to take it if you have the guidance of a professional. That's why I'm saying that if it's a supplement, I treat teas as supplements. If it's a supplement, consult before you take it, because some of them, if you're pregnant, you don't even have to take it. And why do you even want to take care of your midsection if you're pregnant anyway?
Exactly. So we have yogurt, we have almonds. If you don't have almonds, you can substitute
any of the nuts
for almonds. We have coffee, we have turkey, we have apples, we have spinach, we have beans, we have jalapenos, we have
basically
broccoli,
eating well,
all these things.
Eating well, everything we find here. If you don't have any of the legumes we projected there, and you are in the north, God has blessed you with a lot of legumes as far as millet, sorghum, they are concerned.
And you know,
and nuts.
This year I decided that I was actually going to just eat clean. Right, not eat all this imported rice that we have in the country. And that's all I've been doing. I've not worked out. I've not done anything. I've just decided to be more conscious of.
Should I let Dziffa go 360? No. There's a guy in my church. He's always watching.
Dziffa. But I'm just saying, like, every day we talk about this, but you guys at home, it's really important. Some of the things we consume, the packaged things, especially since we are being urbanized, we think that we are good because we're eating all these things, but they are not good for us, because they tell us how important it is for us to consume all natural things.
So I always say that when I was reading the Bible, I was like, how come they lived this old, but we don't have people working like they did? I went to a community for research and I met a 95-year-old man going to the farm in the north, in Tatale. Yes, a community in Tatale. I was like, we call them Tindana. I was like, Tindana, how are you able to farm? It's like, I can still work. I believe that there is power in what they are eating. And being in the north, I so much love them so much that I compare a northerner. My grandmother is in her 80s. You compare an 80-year-old northerner who is religious and truly pure to what he or she eats, and it looks like my grandmother gave birth to that person. There is power in what we are eating. We sit here every day preaching the WHO protocols. Where is the headquarters? Why do you think they will sit up there in another country and just tell us that this is what sits in what we are eating? Before yes, Dziffa, whatever you are eating will go along with.
But we're looking for
The
keyboard.
skill on the
on the
keyboard.
keyboard.
Okay.
So you not singing or singing well doesn't really add up to it.
Okay.
So we need the talent, the pure talent, as we have seen. And it doesn't mean that these people, these young people, have been selected.
Okay.
So these are just some of the entries that
okay.
have come through, and
Okay.
we are showing it to everyone that this is what's happening. So you have up until now.
Yeah.
Up until Friday
Yeah.
to send in your entry and close of business. So that's I'll give you, say, up to 7 p.m.
On Friday.
on Friday.
Okay.
And what you can do is, if you don't know the process, you just play your best performance on the keyboard. Let your parents or somebody or your guardian film you 2 minutes or less. Just play your song, send in your entry to us on 0558 973 973. Add your name and then your guardian or parent's name, and then the phone number that we can reach you on, and then your age. If you want to know the terms and conditions, visit www.citytvonline.com and you know everything that you need to know. But then all the best to those who have. I don't want to give too much away. Because it's a competition. I don't want people to now go and prepare and all that. But I just hope that those who will be selected will prove themselves and will come out with the best, the key. And you know that the prize at stake is 10,000 cedis for the winner, 5,000 cedis for the second one, and then the third person gets a 3,000 cedis to take away.
Fantastic.
Through that, we went through a lot, and then based on what I went through, I came out with that song. So,
what did you go through, if you want to share a bit?
Oh my God. You know, I basically have to keep it for the song, you know. When I release the song, then I share
Just
it
give us a little snippet, because he shared the song already, just a little.
Okay.
Then November, we can give everything away.
No, if they want to know
a little bit. Should we follow on social media for
okay,
updates?
yeah, this is follow social media for.
What's your social media?
Prince Ari.
Okay.
Everywhere from Prince Ari.
And YouTube channels also.
YouTube channel Prince Ari, yeah.
Thank you so much, Prince Ari, for being with us. What's the rest of the year looking like for you?
Well, I hope things come back to normal, and then there is no other place to be than Earth. So I just pray that everything come back to normal.
Yeah, and we're praying that come November,
come
with your new single, video, events, everything, and we'll end the year off on a good note.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Let's go for a quick message and then continue the show. Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Hope you're enjoying more of Prince IE very, very soon. So don't go anywhere. It's been a great show.
Yes, absolutely. And tomorrow is the last day of
City
CBF
Business Festival.
Yep.
And we're doing
TV.
all things trade tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we've gone through rebooting our businesses. We've gone through e-commerce. Last week we learned about opportunities within the agricultural supply chain. And tomorrow we'll be focusing on trade. If you've not yet signed up, you know what to do. Call us at 0205-973-973.
Yes, and of course on Wednesday we have Hello, Mr. President. It's a very important part of the show that we bring to you, because out there in your communities, whatever challenges that there may be, whether it's to do with housing, it's to do with security, it's to do with health, it's to do with education, tell us the story. By filming it, show us what's going on in your community, send us the videos, write us a short letter that we'll give to the president. It's send it to hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com. That's the email address to send it to, and we will do well to present it to the president right here on this show.
Definitely. Now, we spoke to Tina a few minutes ago about Keyboard Idol. Okay, today is the 21st.
22nd.
Jesus Christ. So that means you have just 4 more days left to participate, okay? Don't wait, don't procrastinate. You could just be that winner, okay? So do not overthink it. Just film yourself, and you have more information, just call us at 0558-973-973. Submit those videos for a chance to win 10,000 Ghana cedis. Now remember, you must be below 15 years old. And we're not talking about your
He's working for your good. He's intentional. Oh, never failing. So you don't have to worry, 'cause he's working for you. He's working for you. I believe he's working for you. Oh, you don't have to worry, 'cause he's working for you. He's working for you.